Hey guys, welcome to 10-Minute English with May. And today we are going to talk about misplaced modifier. And we'll be focusing on, again, our adjective clauses. So, a quick review. What is a modifier? It is a word, a phrase, or a clause that describes or modifies another word. So typically, an adjective or an adverb would be considered modifier. So as we have established in the first few lessons, there is level one modifier, which is the basic parts of speech, an adjective or an adverb. There is level two modifier, which is a prepositional phrase, which modifies as adjective or adverb, and a positive phrase, which is an adjective, or a participle phrase, which is also an adjective. So as you can see here, people of Taiwan is a prepositional phrase modifying people, right? Sumac, a poisonous plant, which is a noun that modifies another noun. So that's a positive adjective function. And of course, three plays running simultaneously, running, ing ending, adjective function, that is a present participle. And of course, a project proposed by Bob, verb ed, or sometimes irregular, right? When you were memorizing the three forms of verbs, do, did, done, go, went, gone, sing, sang, sung, right? The last one is actually a participle, and it is an adjective function on its own. So remember, participles, they are not verbs. And when you're having trouble identify whether it's a participle or a verb, a good indicator would be the by after, right? A project proposed by Bob. So that is a past participle phrase. Okay. And a level three modifier is simply an adjective clause, right? Because it has subject, it has verb, but it is still an adjective function. So it starts with a relative pronoun, who, whom, whose, which, that, or relative adverb, when, where, why. So in the example here, it starts with who, relative pronoun who, because we're modifying the girl. Okay, so keep in mind that we want to see the phrases and the clauses as one entity. Even though there's a big chunk of information, it only serves one function, the same function as a part of speech. All right, so in the example sentences here, we have a misplaced modifiers, which means a modifier that is placed in the wrong location. So for number one, to reach our seats, we had to climb a steep flight of stairs, which were surprisingly comfortable. So we can see that which is a relative pronoun, but what would be comfortable? It should be seats. So we have to place it as close to its antecedent, which is the noun and modifies, as possible. So right now, if we leave it as it is, it would be modifying stairs, which is incorrect. And of course, after we move it, we want to make sure that we change the comma, right? We have pairs, so to speak. We'll change that, the punctuation after stairs, to a period, okay? And number two, the ballerina acknowledged the applause of the audience, who, again, we have relative pronoun who is holding an armful of spring flowers. So right now it is placed after audience, but we can assume that it is actually the ballerina who is our antecedent. So again, we have to move it to after ballerina. And again, we want to change the punctuation after flowers to a comma, right? And use a period after audience. Okay. And number three, a gold necklace was the groom's gift to the bride, which was found in an antique shop in New Orleans. So we use which right now is placed after bride, which doesn't work, right? Because it's the gold necklace that was found. So we want to make sure we put it after the antecedent, gold necklace. right? And we want to use comma, comma, right? And then change the punctuation after bride to a period. Okay. And number 4, Brian took the athletic department's van to the mechanic that needed a brake inspection. So what would need a brake inspection? Obviously not the mechanic, not the person, right? So it's actually the van. And since this is essential adjective clause, there is no need to add comma. So again, remember, which is always non-essential and that is always essential. Okay, so we know that the most important rule for a modifier is that you want to place it as close to the antecedent as possible. And this is particularly true for adjective clauses, okay? So it can only come after the antecedent, nowhere else. All right, so now let's do some further practice. We're going to combine the sentences into one. Make be into an adjective clause using who or whom, right? So of course, depending on whether the pronoun that we want to use is a subject or object, we change it to who or whom. So in this case, the woman gave me some information. I called her. Her is the object, so I need to change it to whom, right? And of course, I need to move the relative pronoun to the beginning of the adjective clause, right? And I have to place it as close to the antecedent as possible. So in this case, I place it directly after. The woman whom I called gave me some information. And since this is essential, so you might wonder, how do I know it's essential? Because the woman is very general, right? So we need this information to identify the person. Okay, and for next one, the waiter was friendly. Oops, pardon me, there's a typo here. It's supposed to be she served us dinner. So I'm going to change that. So she is referring to the waiter. So I want to change the she to who, right? And I want to place it as close to the antecedent as possible. So it's the waiter who served us dinner. So again, it's not any waiter, right? So you want to make this essential to specify. Okay. And last but not least, the people were very nice. I met them. So the them is referring to the people. And this is the object. So I need to use whom. And I need to change the location of whom, move it to the beginning of the adjective clause. And I want to place it after the antecedent. The people whom I met at the party last night were very nice. Okay, and again, we're specifying a specific group of people, so we want to use essential adjective clause. Okay, so that's it for today. Bye-bye.